Hi, Movieztalky here. Today, I'm going to explain an erotic American thriller movie called Careful What You Wish For, directed by Elizabeth Allen Rosenbaum. Will the murder mystery seem as easy or there is some twist? Let's find out together. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In the beginning of the story, we see some people enjoying on the beach. There was a boy named Doug who was also coming to celebrate holidays with his parents. He was reading a book. After a while, he looks out of his car to see a view on the shore. After a while, those people reach their lake house and take their luggage down. Here we see that there are many boats standing on the shore of the lake. Doug goes there and meets a friend. He tells him that this time, a lot of boats standing on the banks of the lake. Doug goes there and meets his friend, who tells him that this time many girls have come here and those people can have a lot of fun here. He says that this time the summer is going to be fun. After that, those people go to the bar here where a man comes and takes out the strings of the instrument so that the music players stop. But soon that man starts playing guitar with his music band. Doug's friend gives him an apron and says that the summers have started. After that, Doug comes to his house and says that he has come home. But when he comes home, he finds out that there is no one at home. He goes to his room and starts looking at some pictures. When he looks out the window, he sees a couple who are there. Their names are Elliot and Lena. Doug is looking at Lena, who is very beautiful. Doug is constantly looking at her, but she soon goes inside the house. Doug still tries to see Lena, and as soon as Lena looks at him, he gets scared and closes the window so that Lena can't see. Now, after that, Doug takes his cycle to see her and deliberately starts repairing it and hides Lena and sees her taking out dust from her shoe. After this, Doug goes to his friend and they again talk about the girls. After this, they go into an old boat with a rickshaw. Only then they hear someone laughing from the other side. After this, Doug comes back home. After this, we see that new neighbors have come to his house. His father calls him to meet new neighbors who are Elliot and Lena. Doug goes to meet them where Elliot talks to Doug. Elliot says that Doug's father told him that he knows a lot about boats. He tells Doug to work in his boat and says that we will hire you for him where he will get more money than the work of cutting grass. The next day, Doug goes to Elliot's boat, and there he sees Lena coming out in bikini, and he becomes flat on her beauty. I must say his one part of his body must got erected. After that, Lena goes to take a bath, and Doug is watching her. Lena takes off her clothes, and Doug is still watching her. Then, Elliot comes there, and he asks how the boat is. Then Doug says that the boat has suffered some cosmetic damage. Elliot says that he is going out for a few days, and after that, those people talk about Doug's payment, where Doug says that he will take $12 for this work, but Elliot says that he will give him $20. After this, at night, Doug again looks at the house of his neighbors, and Lena is changing clothes in her room, and Elliot comes there and forces Lena. While seeing this, Doug moves his face other side. Next day, when Elliot was going near the lake, then one police comes there and asks Elliot's ID card. Elliot shows him his ID card, and then Doug comes there and says that this guard is a little crooked. Elliot says that he liked it. After that, Doug and Elliot are on the boat. Doug asks Elliot how he got so much fame. Then Elliot says that this is all the wonder of money and personality. After that, the scene changes, and Doug sees Lena going out of his room window. After a while, he hears Lena screaming, and he runs to her. He sees that Lena is scared and standing outside the car. She was scared to see a spider in the car. Doug takes that spider out of the car and crushes it and kills it. After this, he fixes the car. In the meantime, Lena comes very close to him. Doug tells his friend about it, and his friend tells him to stay away from Elliot because he thinks he is dangerous. When Doug comes back from his work, he sees Lena sitting outside the house. he goes to Lena. So Lena tells him that his house key is lost and she is outside the house. And to go inside the house, he needs Doug's help. She tells Doug that he should not tell anyone about it, that her husband has told her to take care of herself. Suddenly, it starts raining. Lena tells Doug to break the window from the stone and go inside, so that he can go inside and open the door. And Doug listens to her and goes inside, and somehow opens the door. After this, Lena invites him and asks him to drink with her. They start talking, and Lena says that Doug is hurt. Lena starts cleaning his wound and says in a bewildered voice that he will be fine. After this, Doug kisses her and then apologizes to her that this kiss was not good. But Lena does not have any problem with it. She again asks him to try to make it better. They both start kissing each other. Then Lena starts taking off her clothes. Doug helps her, and they spend some good moments with each other. The next day, they get up on the bed, and Lena says that Doug was very good at making a relationship. She asks if he has ever been with a girl before. Then Doug says in a joke that he has done this with someone for the third time. After this, Lena lies down next to him. After a while, Doug goes home and is smiling. He is happy remembering the moments he spent with Lena. After that, he goes to his friend, and his friend tells him that Doug called him by mistake at night. His friend tells him that was the voice of Doug when he was with Lena. After that, his friend points to some girls and says that he can make a relation with them. But Doug ignores him. After a few days, Doug keeps an eye on Lena and starts working out for her. One day he is working on the boat, then Lena comes there and says that Elliot has sent him to see the work of Doug. They go inside the boat, and Lena asks him to drop the curtain. Doug drops the curtain, and Lena starts flirting with him again and starts taking out her clothes. They kiss each other and then spend time with each other. In the next scene at night, Doug was working in the bar. Then Lena comes with her husband. Doug sees her, but then her friend comes behind her and shows her some girls. And while looking at them says that it seems like something good is going to happen tonight. The next day, Doug was going somewhere by his cycle. Then he sees that Elliot has stopped at a shop, so he also stops and goes inside the shop. After that, he and Lena go out of the back door of the shop and start kissing. But in the meantime, Elliot is coming to the same direction while looking for Lena. Seeing him coming, Lena and Doug get away, and Lena kisses him and goes back from there. After a while, Elliot sees that boat on which Doug was working, and he says that he is not working properly. After that, he gives Doug a lecture and says that he remembers his days by looking at Doug. Doug works very hard, and that's why he is giving him so much work. He says that he is going out of the city for a few days, and Doug takes advantage of it and goes to meet Lena. And they met and celebrate in bed and become intimate and erotic. He and Lena go to a picnic and bed together. After some talks, Lena gives him a phone and says that Elliot is a very angry and dangerous person. That's why this phone will help in talking to them. And then Doug runs to the kitchen, and Lena also goes after him. But from outside the window, their servant sees them. After some time, Doug goes to the boat and sees that Elliot is standing on the boat. He goes to the boat in fear. There he sees Lena standing with Elliot. Elliot asks Doug to open the boat and get into the water so that he can find out whether the boat is capable of walking in the sea or not. While riding the boat, Elliot is about to crash with a wind, but he somehow tilts and saves himself. Here Doug gives Elliot some advice on women. Elliot asks him if he has a girlfriend, so Doug says that yes, he has a girlfriend, and suddenly the boat engine stops and Elliot goes to check her, after which Lena takes some time and tells Doug that she is thinking of divorcing Elliot. Then Elliot comes there and asks Doug to fix the boat. That night, Lena calls Doug and is crying, and she tells him that Elliot has beaten her a lot and he has now gone out of town for business. After this, Doug immediately goes to the hospital and tells him that he should tell the police everything. But Lena stops him, and those people go home. The next day, Doug was working, and then he gets a call from Lena. She was sunbathing on the banks of the lake. She calls Doug to her, and they are both intimate in an old boat. Lena tells her that she feels free with him. She tells him about Elliot and his first wife, and says that those people are still trapped in the court case. After this, Doug's friend tries to find out about Doug's actions, and he says that he has seen a girl for him. But Doug does not pay attention to him. After that, he comes back home and sees that Elliot has returned. Then suddenly, he gets a call from Lena, and he immediately goes to his room and he talks to Lena, who is standing behind him. She immediately asks him to come with her because she needs Doug. After this, the Doug immediately goes to his house, where he finds out that there was a fight between Lena and Elliot. And Lena attacked Elliot's head to save herself, which led to the death of Elliot. After this, she asks the Doug to help her because she didn't want to get into any trouble. She asks what Doug can do in this. Doug says that he will find some way out. He says that he will have to behave as normal as before. After that, he goes to work in the bar, and when he comes back, he sees that Lena is with his parents, and there are some strange things between them. And Doug goes to his room. That night, Doug goes to his house to meet Lena. And Lena apologizes to him and says that I can't live alone in the house. That's why she went to meet his parents. Doug says that they can make this incident an accident. But Lena says that this excuse won't work. That's why Doug makes a new plan. And he says to Lena that if the police ask him, he will say that there was a fight between him and Elliot, and after that, Elliot left. After saying this, Doug takes Elliot's body and goes to the boat. But before he could get out of the boat, the guard sees him and calls him Mr. Harbor. He acts like Elliot and takes the boat and leaves from there. Now the next morning, the police action starts, and they think this is an accident. After this, the police come to Lena's house to investigate. Doug sees that Lena is talking to the police. Actually, Doug frames that night Elliot's head hit with a wham on the boat, and then with the help of alcohol and cigarettes, the boat was set on fire, which was causing this accident. Doug starts living his normal life and keeps working in the bar, where he is drinking some police officers' drinks. And those people are talking about the same incident. After this, a woman is shown driving. She goes to meet the police. She says that she is taking this matter seriously because Elliot has life insurance, which is very expensive, and this money is going to be given to Lena. That's why every aspect related to this matter is being investigated to know what happened in the case. That woman calls Lena for questioning and asks if she is having an affair with someone. Lena says that she is not having an affair with anyone, but Lena gets worried about that woman's questions and leaves from there, and the police continues their investigation and asks the guard who saw Doug that night. This time, the police talks to Doug's father. Doug asks the guard what he doubts about. The guard tells him that the night he saw, someone else could have been in the place of Elliot. After this, the insurance agent goes to Lena's house and checks the place of the attack so that she can get some proof. She finds that broken window that Doug had broken to help Lena. After this, the agent goes to Doug's house and asks his parents about the day when Lena came to meet them. Doug's parents tell him that Lena came to meet Doug. Doug hears all this and gets scared. He calls Lena, but seeing his parents coming in the car, he cuts the call. After that, they go to the police station where the agent asks him some questions and tries to make him speak the truth. But Doug's mother says to the agent that she will not let Doug get involved in this matter. Then Doug gets a message from Lena, which scares him, and she says to him that she wants to meet in that old boat. Doug goes there, and Lena says to him that we will have to stay away from each other for a few days, and after saying this, she leaves. Doug comes back to his house and sees that the agent's team has come there. The agent tells him that he needs the finger and mouth of the Doug. They put the Doug in the police car, and the agent again asks him. But Doug doesn't tell him anything. Doug tells his friends and family about this whole matter. In the meantime, the police get a blood sample match that the agent gave him. Doug tries very hard to prove his innocence, but every time his attempt fails. What Lena is actually doing. The guy who saw Doug and Lena together, the police kill him before he reaches him. Doug somehow runs away from there with his cycle and goes to the house where he finds Lena. As soon as Doug goes there, Lena tears off her clothes and starts screaming for help and tries to show that Doug is trying to rape her. The police arrive and catch Doug. Doug tells the police that they know him and he wants to do something to remove the blame on him. A police officer lets him go, and Doug goes to Lena's hotel to get his cell phone. But as soon as he gets the cell phone, Lena comes there, and the agent also comes with him. Doug tells the agent that this phone has proof of his innocence. After that, both the women are going out. Then Doug's eyes go to the agent's feet, where the same tattoo is on Lena's feet. This tells Doug that the agent is Lena's lover and she has been supporting Lena from the beginning. She remembers all that and she understands that he was the pawn of this big game. Here it seems that Lena will leave Doug, but for the sake of her love, she decides to leave the cell phone, in which there is proof of his innocence. After this, both the women take the insurance money of Elliot and get out of the flight, and maybe Doug will also be saved after that. And at this moment, this movie ends.